Yo everyone, what's going on? Couriway here, and today I have a really awesome video to show you guys. This is going to be an analysis slash view of a run that I got last night, if you're watching this the day this is going out, and it was probably the craziest run that I've ever had speedrunning. Just the luck factors and the gameplay mechanics and some of the plays that I make are really good, and a couple of my plays are just absolutely like bottom tier level plays. So I thought this would be a really cool video to kind of show what happens in a really cool run, and also kind of show that, you know, I'm not a perfect runner. I don't think anyone is a perfect runner. Everyone's gonna make mistakes, and I have a really big brain fart that ends up costing me the completion of this run. But everything up until that point is like absolutely insane, things that you don't see in a normal run, and things that I've personally never seen in any run before. So I thought it would be really cool to go through this video and kind of talk about my process and what I was thinking, and also just showing you, you know, what actually happened in this run that made it so cool. So if you enjoy these type of videos, let me know with a comment down below. I really appreciate all the feedback I've been getting recently. It truly does mean a lot, and I'm trying to cater these videos to you guys as much as I possibly can. So thank you very much, and I hope that this is something that you enjoy, and if not, you know, that's totally fine. You know, I just want to kind of gauge what everyone's enjoying, you know. So if this isn't your cup of tea, that's okay. I'll try something else out next time. But anyway, I'm gonna grab some food in this chest, and the only kind of notable thing in this village is that I actually end up going hay baleless, which is really cool. I made a hoe for no reason, and the reason that I am able to skip is these 2 emeralds give me the opportunity to trade with this villager right here for bread, and then I have 20 bread, which is enough for me in a run like this. So I'm super happy. That's usually a pretty big time save. It's not as big of a time save as I'd like, because this village is a bit weird because of just the spacing of all the houses. There's not a lot of houses close together, which is actually a pretty common thing in acacia villages, right? Acacia villages are probably the village type where houses are the most spread out, just because of the way the farms are laid out sometimes. And I also only get 3 iron from this golem, which is not great. So I'm gonna have to woodlight this portal, which actually could have made this run a lot faster. Keep that in mind when we're going over some other things later in this run, that this run could have been at least 45 seconds to a minute faster because of having to woodlight the portal, which is like absolutely bonkers, because this run is just, like I said, this run is probably, I would say this run is my favorite run that I've ever done, even more so than world record, just because of the absolutely like crazy things that happened in the Nether, which we'll get to very shortly, since I'm leaving this village now. So I'm leaving the village at 240, which is pretty good. I would have liked it to be a little bit faster if I'm doing hay baleless, but not bad, you know, nothing too crazy. And I think about digging down here because I see a cave, and I think this is something that I'll talk about in a future video, when you want to dig down and when you don't want to dig down. Basically, my kind of rule of thumb is, if there's a desert, I don't usually like digging down, because, you know, it's nice to see a whole bunch of flat land, and you're also just making progress if you're doing a classic type run where you're not going to do educated or random travel with like obsidian from a bastion. It's really nice that, you know, you don't have to deal with digging back up if you're coming back to the surface through your original portal. But I'm gonna pick a really poor spot. This is probably my second biggest mistake of this run. And you might be thinking like, oh, what do you mean? You're just making a portal. Well, since I have to woodlight it, I have to get rid of all of this sand, and that was a pretty big misplay here. Like, not getting rid of the sand was like, that was the right play, but I should have picked a better spot for this portal. And this is something that wastes me probably about, I'd say like 10-15 seconds, and then the actual lighting of the portal is another like 25 to 35 seconds. You'll also see here I turn my difficulty to hard. That is something that's allowed. Basically what it does is it just allows you to like, fire catches faster when you're on hard mode. So when you're doing a woodlit portal, it's actually faster to turn your game to hard mode. I normally just like playing on normal. If you feel more comfortable playing on easy, I still recommend it. Just change your game back to easy afterwards. And yeah, now I'm just waiting. I thought about going in this cave for the iron because I saw iron there, but by the time I thought about it, the portal was lit, and we're entering it around 4:30. So this is where things really pick up. I'm going to look to my left instantly and see a ruined portal with 3 obsidian and a flint and steel, which is fantastic, like unbelievable. And the 2 gold blocks, which are huge. These 2 gold blocks are the absolute MVP of the run, which you'll see in just a second. So I'm also in the positive quadrant, which you'll also see when I press my coordinates. So I'm looking for a structure here. I'm turning my render distance down, which I always do when I enter the Nether. And I'm going to try and look for a structure. You saw I'm in positive. And I see 4 piglin. And I'm like, I can't not trade with 4 piglin. That's too easy. So I throw them all this gold. I'm going to put them in a hole. And instantly, there's 1 pearl trade, which is crazy. I'm already like, oh my god, like, what if I just turn this into a classic run if I get a fortress and I get another pearl trade? Like, that'd be nuts. But there's no fortress. I actually don't see a single structure when I'm going out that way, so I'm feeling a little disappointed. I'm going to head back to my piglin, see what else there is, and a second pearl trade. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I have 16 pearls. I traded all my gold. And I'm just going to use these pearls to travel around the Nether and try and find a bastion or a fortress because I have 16, which is insane. So I throw my first pearl, and guess what? Boom, bastion in front of my face at 6 minutes. Absolutely nuts. This second pearl I throw is really, really good. You can also see here my inventory is just an absolute disaster. I should have cleared this out more like when I was waiting for the pearl to land, because my inventory is just a massive hindrance to me throughout this run, which is probably another mistake that I could have played better. I think people really underestimate inventory management, especially in Bastion runs, and especially like newer runners really like don't think about inventory management as much. I highly recommend you do. Like, I have to waste a lot of time in a lot of different segments because I'm not paying attention to my inventory, and it can be a really big time loss. So right now I'm using housing. Like, I know this is a housing bastion, so I'm gonna grab all the gold. The piglin were not cooperating. I'm like, where are the piglin? They just were not coming down. So I was like, hey, where are the friends? And then as soon as I do that, there's a piglin right there. So that's nice. I cover up this hole. And again, I'll leave, if anyone wants to learn bastions, I don't personally want to make videos on it because I don't want to take away from the people that actually did the routing for these. If you are interested in learning bastions, I highly recommend you check out T-Wag and Fyroah. I will link both of them in the description down below. They are absolute like masterminds of this game. And I end up throwing that guy a stack of gold. You may have saw there was only 1 piglin in that hole, which normally would be very bad for a bastion route. But for me in this situation, it's not awful because I already have my pearls. Like, all I need is obsidian, which you normally get in bastion chests anyway. So I'm just gonna tower up, try and get this obsidian. I already have 3 pieces too, so I don't even need like a crazy amount. And kind of just hope, right? Like, hope that I get the obsidian here. Hope that when I come back down, I get like maybe another pearl trade. That'd be really nice. And maybe a fire res too. Like, that's really all I need. And I open this chest, boom, 8 obsidian, and then open this one, and there's so much. I have 18 obsidian, which is an insane amount, and that'll actually come back later. And that's one of the really, really cool things about this run that I'll talk about in just a bit when we get to the fortress. So I'm coming back down to check my trades, and at this point, another piglin actually came down, which was really nice, because it kind of sped things up. And I have 2 fire res, and I have 20 obsidian, and this is another misplay. I need to be leaving, like, right now. There's no reason for me to be here right now. I have another fire res. I just threw one. I have all my beds. I have 24 pearls, and I have 20 obsidian. I don't know what I was doing. But that was a pretty big misplay, too. I wasted, like, 10 seconds there. Not something I want to be doing. And I'm looking at my chords again. This is something you should be pretty aware of if you're speedrunning. And I know that bastion is in positive, X positive, Z positive. So I'm going to make my X negative because that was the one that was closer to 0. So you can already see within 2 pearl throws, I'm in negative. Like, right now I'm in the, like, a fortress can spawn like here. There's a chance that a fortress can be here. There is not, unfortunately. And that is the other crazy thing about this run. Besides the piglin trades in the beginning, this is like bonkers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to an extra regional fortress. And this is a term that I used in the Couriway seed video that went out yesterday. And this is a term that I think is a bit more advanced that I've talked about before. But basically, I'll try and explain it again. The Nether is broken up into quadrants. So each quadrant is like 430 blocks by 430 blocks. So think of it, when you pass 430 blocks, you're entering a new quadrant where there's another chance for a structure to appear. So I'm pretty far in this X and Z quadrant, and at this point I'm thinking that the run is dead, which, being honest, for world record pace, it pretty much is. But it's not dead from being a really good run. And I'm kind of just looking, I'm really trying to find anything. And I throw this next pearl, and I think this is when I see the fortress. Yeah, so I see this fortress here, and this is, again, this is an extra regional fortress, which means it's not in the first 430 blocks. It's in the chunk after that, which is really, really cool. I also, again, another misplay. I shouldn't have fallen in that lava, which was just dumb, because then I have to burn my fire res early. But I don't think that really ends up mattering. It was just a kind of a dumb play by me. Like I said, I made a bunch of really good plays in this, but also made a bunch of stupid plays. This pearl was amazing. And then I'm in an extra regional fortress at 1020, which is, this is the crazy part of the run. I'm almost positive that this is like unheard of for an extra regional fortress. At this point, I was like, this is going to be a sick video. I want to really just finish this run. There's so many blazes shooting at me. And a really cool thing I actually did there, I don't know if anyone caught it. I actually activated that blaze spawner before I went to kill these blazes. That way, when I go back, there's going to be a blaze there, which I can kill. And while I'm killing that blaze, it's going to have more of a chance to spawn more. So I'm basically maximizing my chance for blaze rod. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to activate it just for a little bit. I'm going to kill this blaze first so it has a chance of spawning more. And even if it doesn't spawn more, it's still burning the timer, which is still really good. So I'm picking the blazes that I'm killing here precisely. Like, this is not a random order that I'm going to. This was set and calculated, which I really like. Unfortunately, my blaze rod drops were not great, which kind of made the, like, honestly, like, this could have still been close to world record pace. I mean, it really is even still close to world record pace. It just wasn't, like, right there, you know? Like, I never had the intuition that this actually was world record pace. It was always, like, a little bit behind. But it's still just an absolutely, like, bonkers run. Like I said, I personally have never seen an extra regional second ring stronghold this far, like, into a like world record pace so far. Like, this is insane. Like, this is unheard of. These blaze rod spawn rates were awful, which really hurt this run. Like I said, like, if I got better rates either from spawns or from like just drops in general, this could have been like absolutely crazy pace, like right behind world record. And what we're gonna do, you heard me mention it before, was second ring stronghold. Basically, there's different rings to the stronghold, and what that means is the first ring is usually around, like, if I'm doing a random travel, it's gonna be around 250 blocks. You can see I got my 7 blaze rods, so I'm gonna make my portal. But this one, for second ring, I usually like to do around 700. And right here at this blaze spawner, you may have seen it when my cords were pulled up, was here it is again, is like 750, which is really good. So I'm in this cave. I'm looking for the stronghold. I don't see it, obviously, because that would be like insane. Like, that'd be like absolutely bonkers if I saw it. So I'm here, and then I'm going to throw an eye. I know I'm going to lose the eye, but I'm still able to get the angle, which is why I wanted 7 blaze rods and why I have so many ender pearls. And I'm able to get that angle. It's negative 35.7. And now I'm just going to run that way. And I think I actually throw a pearl, and I'm going to make a second portal because I have that 20 obsidian. And that's going to give me a random travel and an educated travel in the second ring, which, again, at this time, at 13 minutes, is like unheard of. Like, no one, like, I have never seen this. That's the thing that makes this run so crazy. And just, like, it was such a fun run. Like, this was probably my favorite run that I've ever done. And making sure I do not misplace that obsidian. And here we go. Exiting the nether for real at 1335. Again, not really world record pace, but I know that I'm going to be close to the stronghold. And there's my first eye throw. And it's actually going to take me towards an ocean. So I'm thinking that I want to throw another eye on this coastline just to, like, make sure that it's not in the ocean, and or make sure that it is in the ocean. And if it's not, I'll go behind me. And if it is in the ocean, then I will be able to get the correct angle one more time. So that's kind of my thought process at this moment. This is, again, like, crazy pace. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you hear me with my reaction when I throw this eye. Oh my god. Dude, what? Yeah. Kind of nuts. Kind of insane. At this point, I'm like, wow, this is, like, I cannot believe how well this worked out. This was so cool. I throw another eye here. I should have realized that it was farther. I end up missing my dig down here, which was pretty poor on my part, but I was pretty nervous in the moment. I'm not gonna lie, and you'll notice, or let's word it this way. Leave a comment. Pause the video right now. What is the one major thing I am missing to complete this run? Because I'm forgetting a major thing, and I'll give you a hint. I used it to get to where I am. I used it to get to where I am right now. And if you answered obsidian, you are correct. I have 0 obsidian and 0 crying obsidian. And you might be thinking, Curry, what does that mean? I'm not sure. Well, if you remember in the last video, or most of my recent videos at this point, when I'm doing a 1 cycle for the dragon now, I am using obsidian, which is, and I find the portal room like almost instantly. You also notice that my timer stops here. That's because I double split both times when I left the nether. So my timer actually stops, but I'm entering at 15:34, which is insane. Like I think there's been like maybe 10 runs ever on this pace. But I'm missing obsidian, and I realize it right now. I'm like, oh no, this is not good. And what I should have done is I should have just gone east-west so I get a higher perch. But I decided to still go north-south, and that was a really poor decision that ends up costing me this run. I do have string, though. That's why I kept that stack of string in case I did end up making a dumb decision and need more beds, and I did. But I have no crying obsidian, and that means that I can't do the 1 cycle that I've been used to, and that is not good. Basically, this is very not good. And I actually end up, unfortunately, not being able to complete this run, which stinks. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, not every speedrunner is perfect. You know, there are a lot of times where you get to this point, like this point right here, you're on sub 20, like this is sub 18 pace, which is crazy. And, you know, you forget like one crucial thing. You don't have beds, or you don't have food, and you're going to die to the dragon 1 cycle, or you look at an enderman, or in my case, you forget obsidian. And that, it hurt. But I'll tell you what, I'm never going to do it again. And I'm really glad that it wasn't a world record pace run. And I think that's something that I always try and look for in these type of runs, is if I'm making a mistake, right? And I highly recommend other runners do this too. If you're making a mistake, there's 2 things you have to do. 1, make sure you don't do it again. And 2, absolutely learn from it and look at the positive in it. So for me, I learned after this run, I am never making this mistake again. And it's actually pretty funny because you'll see in the video tomorrow, I actually make the same exact mistake, but that was before this run and it worked out. So I was like, oh, I'm probably fine. But I was not fine this time because I had to waste my pearl, which you'll actually see here, because this dragon was just not perching, which really killed this too. I've had really bad luck on my perches recently, but just absolutely awful. And I have to waste my pearl because the dragon knocks me, which really sucks. But like I said, like you have to be able to learn from it. Like I will never do that 1 cycle thing again. I will never forget obsidian. I should have left the bastion with obsidian, or with crying obsidian, and I didn't, which is a really bad misplay. And yeah, and here that's where I get knocked. I have to throw the pearl, and now I'm nervous. Now I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it there in time. And I know the dragon's gonna perch. I should have started running like now. I'm running. I should have been running. I'm too late, and I know I'm too late. And I'm gonna try and place it, get in there, and I tried to do it early, and it just didn't work. And that's the run. So I hope you enjoyed. That was tough. It would have been like an 18:30 run because the dragon took so long to perch. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this run. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time. Peace out.